It's really unique, incredible experience that spanned a lifetime.
Some might even say it's incredulous, and by all means, I kind of felt that way along the way many times as well, because of the things that I had to confront in my own mind and experience in order just to be okay with what is and what appeared and what was reflected back to me from others. It wasn't just an internal experience that I was having that had no outer reference points. It had the whole kit and caboodle. So as a kid, I found out about age 5 that I was adopted. So, and orphaned as a newborn. So adopted at 6 weeks. Soon thereafter, I started questioning, and one evening heard this voice that simply said, "Hey, you." And I realized it came from within. It wasn't from without. So I started having a conversation. Then about 10 years later, a little over, I'm in college in my first year in a pre-med program at Ball State University, and I came back from class one day and really felt just empty. And so I got down on my knees and I prayed to know what truth was. I said, "Father, I want to know what truth is, and I'm willing to die for it if necessary." And lo and behold, the following week I came back from class and had an experience where I heard this voice I'd been familiar with since a child ask me by name. My given name's Bruce. It says, "Bruce, are you willing to die for what you believe in?" And after a few moments of like, what do I believe in? I thought, okay, Christ consciousness. Still didn't feel complete. Cosmic consciousness, yes. So at that point, the music I was listening to had a guitar riff that sounded like a rocket ship taking off. I left my body. I turned to look at my body laying across the dorm room bed. Honors dorm, by the way. I was in a pre-med program, if I didn't say that before. And immediately after I turned to look where I was going, I was engulfed by white light. Now, I was there for a few moments only, just enough to know that I wasn't dead because I could think, yet there was no tactile sensation. So the impetuous teenager says, "Okay, wow, is there more?" And I felt a movement, and I went into almost a reversal of that. I was in an indigo background with points of light surrounding me. I knew the points of light were points of consciousness. Whether in body or not, I wasn't sure. I assumed that they were, even though that I wasn't at the time, and I knew it.
So let me just ask you something.
Sure.
You were in pre-med,
Right.
which means that you're a pretty smart kid.
Yeah, I
and
tested
you
out
already
of 5
had a
quarters
certain amount. Yeah, you already had a certain amount of life experience and probably enough time to formulate some belief systems and have a position. So how did your intellect cope in that moment with what was happening to you?
It was observing. I was able to not try to think my way through it.
Well, for a lot of people, that's a challenge in itself.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the whole goal of meditation, is to not think, to find
Right.
the quiet space between the notes, if you will,
Sure.
and the silence within. So I just happened to be there. Now, I had some help early on in my teenage years in learning how to quiet my mind so that I could manage my situations.
Okay.
So it wasn't like this was unknown. I had out-of-body experiences starting when I was 7. So these were things that I felt better adjusted to cope with this moment. And then after I recognized these points of light as points of consciousness, the voice that invited me there picked up and said verbatim, these are those that you are to work with in order to facilitate a new world order. It will happen. Know this to be true. It will happen in your lifetime. Have faith and trust that everything you need will be there at its appointed time. Trust and allow. And then I felt another rush of energy, and I came back into my body with a gulp of air. So once I got back, I just kept my eyes closed for a while and just felt myself reintegrate with kind of an effervescent feeling after that experience, and it was drugless. Lots of questions out there that it might have been, okay.
Yeah, are you on drugs? Yeah.
It was the 70s, and I did participate, and I even inhaled from time to time. This was not necessarily one of those experiences, okay? So as I'm back in my body then, this effervescent feeling just permeated my entire being. And then my mind kicked in. And I started thinking, what the F just happened?